Alright, so what we got here is called a ratchet binder. This is one of our cargo securing equipment. So what we'll do here is basically we'll use this binder and hook these hooks here to the chain. So what we'll do here is we'll hook this link up to either one of the shackles or one of the links in the chain that we attach to the shackles. And after here, once we take the slack off the chain, we'll take this other end and put it onto the nearest link. Once we have this secured to both sides of the chain, we'll use this and crank it like this to tighten the chain down so the cargo doesn't move. All right, so now we're on the back cargo deck, and we have boxes all sorted sizes and everything. Open containers, closed containers, any container you could want, we got it here. So right here, we have the bridles. All right, these are attached to each corner of the cargo, and it's what the crane uses to pick it up. So what we'll do here, if I don't overlay some footage, we'll take this big shackle right here, which is attached to the 4 bridles. Crane will bring it up, up, and then it'll basically just take it off. What we can usually do is we'll usually take some sticks or V-tools that we have and guide the cargo up so that it doesn't rotate and swing all over the place and possibly kill someone. All right, so I'm here on the back deck now, and we have all cargo rigged up to go. Now, as you can see, we got this big crate behind me, and we have it rigged to get up with the crane. So right here, we got 3 D-rings hooked up to the 4 bridles on each corner of this crate. So what we did, or what they did on the dock actually, is they hooked up 1 D-ring to connect both D-rings that have 2 bridles on each of them. This is so that the bridles are so big that they would crowd up on only 1 D-ring and damage each other. So we got them spaced out here with 2 D-rings, and we got 1 D-ring to hook them both up. And what we're gonna do is hook up this D-ring that has no bridles on it, and is instead connecting both D-rings. We're gonna hook that up to the crane, and then it's gonna lift it up. We'll keep it steady as the crane gets steady, and then it's gonna lift it right off the back deck, and we'll have no problem getting it off. These smaller ones, however, they only have 1 D-ring on them, or 4 bridles on the corners of them. So this will be an easy one to get off. We'll just hook it right on, crane will take it right up. You don't have to stabilize it or anything. They'll just take it right up, no problem. So what these pipes have that nothing else has is this rope here that goes across every level so that the pipe doesn't go on metal contact and start damaging the other pipe. These are loaded onto us when we're in port, and we're gonna take it off with the crane offshore as well. And basically what we're gonna do with this is every single level, we're gonna load off the pipe on one level, take this off, and then start loading off the other pipe on the other level. So right here is a ratchet binder. In the video I'm gonna overlay, you can see me operating it. What it basically does is that it acts as a turnbuckle. So it allows us to put an immense amount of force on objects and on the chain to secure them down to the deck with very little outside force. All right, so right now we're gonna be looking at how the cargo is secured. So we got everything tied down now, and this 3/8 inch chain. This has a maximum safe load of 5,400 pounds and a safe working load of 3,600 pounds. And it's all connected to a fixed securing system that we have on deck. Now these are all throughout the ship, permanently installed with a safe working load that's gonna be on the screen right now. And now this is the other side. So we have the same 3/8 inch chain here, but we also got the 3/8 inch load binder, which has the same safe working load as the chain of 3,600 pounds and a maximum load of 5,400 pounds. And it's all secured to the pad eyes out on the deck. Now these have a different safe working load depending on how you put strain on them, horizontally at 30 degrees or vertically. And now we have this chain running up, and it's going on to the next load. This goes over, and then it's secured in the same way to the pad eye, running through, and it goes all the way until the next side, which I'm going to show you and through another one of these permanent fixtures with the same safe working load as the other side. Now we have the chain looped through onto itself with a hook that we installed on the end. And this hook would be the final part in the system that keeps all of this cargo tied down to the deck so it wouldn't move if we started rolling or ran into bad weather. Everything is secured down as tight as possible, all thanks to the equipment that we're supplied. All right, so in addition to all this deck cargo we have on board, we also have dry bulk in the tanks below deck. So we are a supply vessel, so we are purpose-built to take deck cargo, but also dry bulk, liquid bulk, fuel oil. If the rig needs it, we can carry. All right, so this is a part of our cargo information system, and it's similar to what I've experienced in marine cargo operations. So we do have our liquid bulk tanks, but also our dry bulk tanks, and we also have a camera here to monitor the hose when it's on deck. Now usually the cargo transfer will fall onto the responsibility of the engineer on watch. He'll be responsible for hooking up the hose, getting everything set up, starting the transfer, commencing the transfer, and finishing it up too, as well as stripping the tanks. And if we're ever doing tank cleaning, he's going to be overseeing that, since cargo is his responsibility, or at least liquid and dry bulk. Alright, so we're doing hose operations now. Basically we're going to be transferring dry bulk and bayrite over to the drill ship. So So over here, the crane has a hook hooked up, and it's going to be transferring the hose over to us. And we're going to hook it up. I'll show you the video of that. All right, so we just hooked up the hose. They lowered it down to us with the crane. Now we're going to connect it to the manifold, make sure there's no kinks, and tied it down. Now we're going to pressure test it, and if everything is up to spec, we're going to move the bay right through it. All right, so whenever we're doing cargo operations, we need to keep in contact with the drill ship and our crew. So we use these, our handheld VHFs, and also our installed VHFs on the bridge and in the engine control room. Now the channel is different depending on which drill ship we go to, and I'm going to overlay that on the screen right now. All right, so right now we're on channel 68 because we're at drill ship Ocean Black Lion. Anything the bridge may need to say to them, or the control room may need to say to them, is going to be on channel 68. So anytime there's an update or any confusion or general just communication issues, the bridge or any control room will handle it. And to resolve any issues such as torn hoses, now we have had a hose that wasn't up to spec before, and what we did there was we communicated to them that the hose was not good and we would not transfer anything through it, and we sent them a photo of the damage to the hose. They sent it back up and they got a new hose out there the next day. All right, so whenever we're doing cargo, we need to bring our PPE with us. This includes our hard hat, our safety glasses, our PFDs, and our gloves. These are a specific type of glove for rigging where it has bridges on your fingers and your thumbs, so that'll protect you if anything ever shifted unexpectedly, the hose accidentally charged, or anything happened where your hands would be in danger. These will protect your hands since we got little ridges on top of here that will protect you. We also are required to wear long pants and steel-toe boots to protect us. All right, so this is an example of any cargo equipment that we'd be doing maintenance on. So right here, this is a ratchet binder. So this is a ratchet binder that's broken, and as you can see, it's not very ratchety. All right, the ratchet part is broken, so what we're gonna be doing with this is we're gonna be giving it back to the company, and they can either fix it or just send us a new one. But we have to have all our equipment on board as necessary to secure our cargo down. All right, so whenever we're going to sea, we do have to prepare our cargo securing equipment for sea. So we usually put this onto our ratchet binders. This is a PB blaster. It'll prevent it from getting rusted up or freezing up on us when there's water coming over the sides or splashing onto it. All right, so my experience with cargo has been quite good actually. Whenever we're in port, I'm always helping take the cargo down or bring the cargo up. And if we're offshore, I'm always helping with what I can. There is a restriction on all cadets, however, that they cannot help with pipe or risers, even if they have their rigging certification. Now, I was lucky in a sense that I was able to get Marine Rigger certified before I came on the boat. So when the cadet shipping coordinator called me, they got me set up with taking some classes that would give me some certifications that I needed for the company. They mentioned Marine rigging and said I did not need to do it, but I said, you know what, let's do it anyway. Do I get a certification from it? And they said yes. So it was only 1 day of extra classes. That would have been nothing otherwise. And I got a Marine Rigger certification that expires after 5 years under API standards. I'm also trying to get my PIC by logging in any transfers that I experience of dangerous cargo, which includes fuel oil and oil-based mud. All right, so right now we're in port and we're taking on a lot of casing right now, which is basically pipe. So how we load this pipe is we got a layer here, and then we're gonna put some dunnage on with the crane into 2 parallel lines, and then we're gonna put the second layer of pipe on. After that, we put another layer of dunnage, and then we put the third layer of pipe on, and that's where we stop since that's as high as our cargo rail goes. All right, so when we're loading cargo, both the unlicensed and the licensed crew have their job. So first off, the licensed officers have their responsibility to arrange for line handlers to meet us at the dock, to get the crane over, and to make sure that all the cargo equipment that we need is gonna be at the dock when we are taking off cargo so we can get it all off in a timely manner. The unlicensed crew, including the ABs and OSs, are responsible for taking the cargo off deck, hooking up the shackles, tying everything down, taking everything up, removing the chains, and basically doing anything that's going to be physically taking the cargo off the deck. The unlicensed crew will also be flagging the crane. Now during a liquid or dry bulk transfer, we're going to be transferring through these manifolds here. The ABs, OSs, and even the QMEDs will help hook up the hose and make sure everything is ready, safe, and secure for the transfer. Also during these transfers, we will be having a hose watch, which will basically just sit in a chair close to the hose and make sure that if it starts leaking or it comes loose or anything bad happens, we'll radio the engine room and tell them to shut it down. Now before coming back to port, we do make sure that we can sail properly. So one of our checks is our stability checks, where our margin of error is a 2.5 foot trim at most. Any more, we cannot sail, and we have to move some more stuff around so that we can sail safely the over 100 miles back to port. These stability checks are kept on the boat and are saved for audits by the Coast Guard if they ever want to make sure that we do our stability checks for any specific date. We will also make a cargo manifest and send that to BP before we come into port. As a part of that cargo manifest, the rig will send us what they gave us so that we have a complete inventory of cargo that we have on board. They will also send what they gave to us to the company, and the company will send that paperwork over to the port. This is a measure that was taken post-COVID. Pre-COVID, we would be taking the paperwork ourselves and giving it straight to the port. However, that has since changed since the pandemic. Now, some cargo coming back from the rig is going to require something called a UIC 28, and this will include cutting boxes, tanks, and any waste that they're going to dispose of. It is basically a form that's an extra step to make sure that we are accountable for any trash, sewage, or anything that they need to pump off or get rid of, as it's environmentally dangerous. After the paperwork is sorted, we're going to be making sure that our deck is completely secured and no cargo can move around, as well as all our hatches are closed for stability reasons. However, if all of our hatches are closed, we retain our watertight integrity and can sail safely back to port. Now, once we get to the dock, we are going to require a declaration of inspection for any hose transfer that we do.